Hello my dudes, welcome back to Duty's Daggers. We're doing a test on the Leatherman Rebar today. This Leatherman has been on my person, on my belt, every single day for going on right around 6 years now. And I recently just upgraded. That's right, I just recently upgraded to a different Leatherman. Not because this, broke or bent or anything. It's amazing. It's an amazing Leatherman, but I wanted to upgrade. So you will see the new one on the channel in the next couple days. But I wanted to do one final test of the Leatherman Rebar here, because this has faithfully served me for a very long time. And I want to kind of sing its praises here for a minute, because it's really an amazing Leatherman. The best Leatherman for the price. You can get this for right around $75, and it's really fantastic. So here's the regular blade. This is the straight blade. It's a hollow ground drop point blade. You can see it zipped through that cardboard easily. And then here's the serrated blade, also hollow ground, kind of a sheep's foot style. Now this thing is insanely sharp. Look at how easily it cuts through this polypropylene rope. You know that most straight edge knives have a lot of problem slicing that stuff, but I mean, it's like butter to this serrated edge. Just insanity. If you cut a lot of rope or similar materials, serration's the way to go. It really is. Let's try the strap next. I don't think it's going to go all the way through this. Just because of the blade shape, not the sharpness necessarily. And yeah, it took me 2 tries to get through it, but man, those serrations just make short work of it. It's really nice to have both a plain edge and a serrated edge with you. I like to break out the serrated edge when I'm doing, like, I don't know, any kind of cutting where I don't want to mess up my my plain edged knife. Here's the saw blade. I don't really use that much. I don't really work with wood very often, but I do, it's happened a few times over the course of the years. It cuts through wood very quickly, though. Super quickly. You can see here, I'm just kind of blazing through the 2x4 without a whole lot of pressure needed, even. So, definitely works good. It's nice and long, too. So with this Leatherman, none of the tools are accessible in the closed position, which is one of the reasons that I upgraded. You need to open up the Leatherman to access any of the tools. All the tools are locking. Now this is one of my favorite elements of the rebar. We have a full 3D Phillips head. I use this all the time. I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to drive in a screw here with it. No slipping. You know, a lot of Leathermen have those kind of flat Phillips drivers, and those just suck. You end up stripping out the screw, and you slip out of them all the time, but it's just so easy with this nice 3D one. And you could also pull out one of the handles for more leverage, kind of in a pistol grip. I've really cranked on screws this way, and nothing has bent, nothing has broken. This is a very, very tough Leatherman. Piece of cake. It's nice. There's a nice kind of fat shank on it too. Some of the other Leathermans have kind of thinner shanks, which would more easily bend. Here's the tools on the other side. We have the small flathead and large flathead. I use that small flathead for most of my prying tasks. I've pried all kinds of stuff with that thing. It's never bent, you know? I mean, I never, like, abused it. I've definitely pushed it to its limits, you know? It's definitely never bent on me. It's a great pry tool. I'm just trying to demonstrate a little bit how tough it is. Alright, what do we got next? The file. I love this file. It's got 2 sides, one side for wood and one side for metal. You can see that's the wood side, or no, that's the wood side there. And let's test it on some metal. It does a good job, man. I've used this a lot of times. Getting into small spaces where my grinder won't get, and I don't have a regular file on me. It works, man. It also has teeth on the edge, so you can do a little bit of cutting with it as well. And it does surprisingly well. Check that out. Oh yeah. Let's try the wood side. Yeah, just fine, you know. It's so nice having a file on you all times. What's next? What do we got? Let's test out the pliers. So this is a needle nose with the replaceable wire cutters. Let's try it on a zip tie. I cut a lot of zip ties, and no problem for this, obviously. Piece of freaking cake. These are not spring-loaded pliers, keep that in mind. Doesn't bother me one bit. Let's try some regular baling wire. Obviously, it's going to go through this with no issue. There's kind of two areas of the wire cutters. There's the top portion, and then down towards the bottom, there's what they call the, I think they call it the heavy wire cutters, which you would use for kind of thicker gauge stuff. Now this stuff, I'd never tried cutting it, and it turns out it didn't do a great job. It's just, you know, it's all those little strands. It was hard to get through. But you'll see, not because they're not strong, because we cut some pretty thick stuff here coming up. It's just the fact that it's a bunch of small strands kind of twisted together, I think is why it was a little difficult. I'm trying. And I think, yeah, I gave up. I almost got it. Next up, let's try some just regular power cord, regular insulated wire. Not sure what gauge this is. I'm not an electrician. But piece of cake. Gives a pretty nice clean cut. Let's try it next on something big. How about a welding rod? This is a 332 7018 welding rod. I wasn't sure if it would. I'm down and towards the back at the heavy cutters, and dude, check that out. It really wasn't even hard to do. Easy. Easy, easy. Hell yeah. Trying to demonstrate the pliers here. Over the years, I've put a lot of torque on these things, man. You know, just twisting on shit, pulling on shit. Just really, I don't want to say abused, but I've absolutely used them to their limits. And nothing, like I said, nothing's broken, nothing's bent. The needle nose tips still align with each other perfectly. You know, it's just, it's pretty astounding, actually. This isn't even marketed as, like, the heavy-duty Leatherman. It's one of the more heavy-duty Leatherman. But it's not marketed as, you know, like the Surge, as, like, the ultimate heavy-duty multi-tool. But I would call this thing a heavy-duty multi-tool. Absolutely, man. You know, I haven't... It's literally feels exactly the same as when I first bought it. Even like the opening action still feels really nice and stiff. You know, I haven't tightened the pivots. I've really done nothing to this. No upkeep, no maintenance, aside from cleaning it off. I've never had to tighten anything, never had to bend anything back, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Another thing to keep in mind, this comes with a nylon sheath, not the leather sheath. If you want the leather one, you do need to order that separately, which kind of stinks. You know, they used to come with the leather, but they at some point decided to start doing these nylon sheaths, which work great. I just don't like how they look. I much prefer leather. Trying to pull this screw out, but it's giving me some issues. But I guess that's good. Able to demonstrate how hard you can crank on these things without worrying about it. You know, the multi-tool that I carried before I got a Leatherman was the Gerber suspension. I'm sure if you're a little bit, even a little bit into multi-tools, you know about that one. That one was spring-loaded. They were a lot bigger, especially closed. And I broke one of the needle nose tips off of it. I wasn't even doing anything that crazy. Just snapped it right off. And after that, I told myself, never again. I'm going with Leatherman. And really have become a Leatherman kind of a fanboy, really. They just, man, I have a Leatherman Crunch now. I have a Leatherman Juice, Leatherman Micra. They just make really quality stuff. Really quality stuff. If you're ever interested to see kind of their factory and how they do things, they have a great, some great videos on YouTube. You can kind of get a tour of their facilities. It's really, really fascinating. You know, these Leathermen are really a marvel of engineering. You know, if you think about it, there's so many moving parts that have to fit together perfectly. They have to be reliable. It's just really cool, man. Really cool. A lot of thought went into these. So you can see the tips still align perfectly. It's really, man, I want to say it's the perfect Leatherman because it's the perfect size too. Unless you want to carry a big bulky Leatherman around, this is still a pretty compact tool when it's closed, and it's still heavy duty. I think it's the perfect Leatherman as long as you don't need to have your tools accessible from the outside. Perfection. I don't know why I said that weird. All right, dudes, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out on the channel in the next couple days to see my new Leatherman, the upgrade. And please like the video before you bounce. Thank you, dudes. See you in the next one.